The only impossible journey is the one you never begin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how I welcome you to today's most authoritative sports podcast show, Playtime on Opari Studio. I am Stephen Ronald Boche. I have with me here Uncle Fred, who has joined me to discuss about the European football, the Champions League and the Europa League. It was very exciting during the week. Tuesday there were some matches, Wednesday and Thursday too there were some matches. So we are going to delve into it and bring you an amazing review of the matches. Uncle Fred, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we go into it, please kindly subscribe to our channel and also leave a comment for us so that we will read it to you. Let's start with Tuesday matches. Tuesday we had Aston Villa facing Paris Saint-Germain, and the match ended 3-2 in favor of Aston Villa after PSG has taken a 2-0 lead. So Aston Villa did a comeback and they won that match 3-2. But head-to-head, PSG had qualified to the semi-final of the Champions League. Also, we had Barcelona facing Borussia Dortmund, and that match ended 3-1 in favor of Borussia Dortmund. It was an amazing score line. Most people did not predict that match to go in favor of Borussia Dortmund, but Borussia Dortmund surprised most pundits, and they came up to win that match by 3-1. However, Barcelona, because of the 4-0 win they had in Camp Nou, had qualified to the semi-final of the Champions League. Also on Wednesday, the most anticipated match took place between Real Madrid and Arsenal. Real Madrid were wishing that they could do the comeback against Arsenal, but it did not happen. Rather, Arsenal went to the Santiago Bernabeu and won that match 2-1. So Martinelli had the second goal that gave Arsenal the victory, and Arsenal had now qualified to the semi-final of the Champions League. And also at the San Siro, or Estadio di Giuseppe Meazza. When Inter Milan is playing at home, it is called Estadio di Giuseppe Meazza. But AC Milan, when they are playing at home, it is called San Siro. So Inter Milan played at home against Bayern Munich, and Inter Milan drew 2-2 with Bayern Munich. And head-to-head, Inter Milan had qualified to the Champions League semi-final. So we are going to review the Champions League after. We will take you through the Europa League as well. So Uncle Fred, let's start with the Tuesday matches.
Right.
We had Barcelona facing Borussia Dortmund, and Barcelona were defeated. If Borussia Dortmund were a bit clinical, I think Barcelona might be smiling at the wrong side of their mouth.
Sure.
What do you think went wrong for Barcelona? Were they over complacent?
Okay. Thank you very much, and we welcome all our viewers once again to joining us in this match review.
Sure.
With Barcelona, I think it was something that it was least expected. With Barcelona, it was least expected because having win 4-0 at home, I think they were complacent. So they didn't take that much serious, especially right after the first leg.
Okay.
Borussia Dortmund versus Barcelona at Camp Nou.
Yeah.
Then their league game against Leganes.
Yeah.
They drew. They won by one goal to
1-0. Yeah. They
won by 1 goal to 0.
Yeah.
And from that match, I realized Barcelona wasn't the Barcelona that I know.
Okay.
I was looking at the way they played. In fact, you do not see the seriousness at all.
Wow.
Yeah, you do not see the seriousness at all. And I was sitting back watching the game, and I was like, is this the Barcelona that trashed Borussia Dortmund? So I was thinking maybe they were reserving their energy for the Dortmund game.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, that very game, it was an own goal. That they had. That gave them that victory, that 1-0 victory. So I was thinking, going into the Borussia Dortmund game, knowing very well that Dortmund also has a track record. As in they are the second in competing for the Bundesliga. So I think Barcelona didn't do the justice that they had to to do before the game.
Okay.
So they went into the game, but they were fumbling. In fact, that very day, I didn't see the action of Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
I didn't see the action of Rodri.
Yeah.
I didn't see the action of Rafinha. It was a total flop.
Wow.
I wasn't surprised when
from the whole team.
It was a total flop from the whole team.
Oh.
I wasn't surprised when Lamine Yamal was
withdrawn from
the game.
Yeah.
And then even that very day, Barcelona couldn't score a goal.
Yeah, it was an
so after the 4-0 thrashing of Dortmund in their league game, they couldn't score an open goal, and also in the Champions League too. But if Barcelona is to carry on with this to the semis, they might have the shock of their life.
Yeah, especially facing a team like Inter Milan.
Inter Milan,
who has done it before,
who is on the run, having all the
experience and the energy.
Even apart from the experience, they are hungry for success.
Yeah, it's very true.
They are hungry for success.
Yeah.
So if you don't go in, if you want to be the best, you have to always be the best.
Yeah.
Not get to a point, relax, and expecting to do what is expected of you. That one, I think Barcelona lost it. And Hansi Flick was not happy. He wouldn't be happy.
But don't you think that inexperience also contributed to Barcelona's defeat? Especially playing at the Signal Iduna Park. That place is very difficult for an away team to go there and outplay Borussia Dortmund. It's very difficult. So the supporters will create an atmosphere that will be very a fearful atmosphere or a threatening atmosphere for the opposition to even play. Yeah. Don't you think that also went into the Barcelona players, and as a result they couldn't play the way they would have wanted to play?
The crowd counts, the support counts, but the action is on the field of play.
Sure.
If you consider yourself as the best, you always
you need to prove it. Yes.
So if at a point, that is what happened to Liverpool.
Yeah.
And they were kicked out of the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because, they were leading the table.
Yeah.
They were leading and they thought, oh, okay, we are at the top. So the moment you have that mentality of relaxing in a match, it will get you carried out.
Yeah.
So in the subsequent matches, you realize that your weakness
is being
what
exposed.
Others did to beat you at a point in time. The coaches will read and then map strategies that can make you go down their line whenever they meet you.
Okay.
So you always have to be at the top. You always have to be at the top. So Barcelona at that point in the Dortmund game, they didn't do what is expected. And in fact, I spoke to some Barcelona fans. That very day, a lot of Barcelona fans were angry. They were angry. They didn't see the team that they've always been seeing. So it was something that was, I wouldn't say abysmal performance, but it was below the belt.
A shocker.
It was below the belt.
A shocker. Okay, so another match that we are going to look at is Paris Saint-Germain. They came to Villa Park, and Aston Villa defeated them 3-2 after they had taken 2-0 lead.
Yes.
Did you expect that to happen?
I least expected that to happen. I was thinking Aston Villa's best could have been a draw. A draw game. So it wasn't a surprise when PSG took 2 goals lead. But for they to sit back and allow Aston Villa to equalize and eventually win the game.
Yeah.
I think PSG should have a second look at their team.
Yeah. Especially the defense, because Villa almost scored a last-minute goal that could have taken the match to an extra time. Yeah.
Because they qualified on a 5-4 aggregate. Yeah. Having 1-2-1 the first leg. So everyone was expecting them to do the needful and then carry the day. Because if you want to be the best, you always have to be on top.
Yes. Yes.
always have to be on top.
Yes, and especially playing against a team like Aston Villa. You should just. I'm not underrating Aston Villa because everybody knows Unai Emery's credentials. He's a top-notch coach. No one is going to underestimate that. But with PSG, I don't think in the Champions League PSG should be a team that would go to Aston Villa's home and go and lose in the way that they lost that match.
And even looking at the league team, Aston Villa is on the 7th position.
Yeah, in the Premier League.
In the Premier League.
Yeah.
So having a 7th position Premier League team
facing League One champion,
already champion in the League One, you expect more from the League One champion than the Aston Villa. So football pundits didn't predict Aston Villa having an upper hand. Yeah. And in fact, they outplayed them too.
Yeah, it's very true. Especially in the second half.
In the second half.
PSG did not do anything.
So, that is the game of football.
Yeah.
That's the game. It comes with surprises. Sometimes when you relax, sit back, your opponent might take you by surprise.
Yeah.
So, it's a lesson to the semi-finals team. PSG themselves, it's a lesson to them.
Yeah.
Baby, you do it.
Yeah.
So what me at me fi na
Aston Villa.
So what me akọ Aston Villa fi
why you
ohun adwuma wodi kan hye 2 what na se na betiti 2 no e de ba kwa kan na me ampata mpo.
Yeah.
Even they were lucky on the day.
They were very lucky.
PSG was lucky.
Very
PSG
lucky.
was lucky.
Yeah, they were very lucky. Okay, so another match that we should also take a look at is Bayern Munich against Inter Milan at the Estadio di Giuseppe Meazza. They drew that match 2-2 after Bayern had lost at home 2-1 to Inter Milan.
Yes.
That match ended 2-2. And as a result, Bayern Munich couldn't qualify to the semi-final of the Champions League. What do you make of Bayern's and Vincent Kompany's performance this season?
I think
in the Champions League especially.
They did all they could at Inter in Italy, but they lost the match in their home.
Yeah,
they lost that opportunity when they played at home, because if you sit back your own backyard with all the support, with all the fans, with all the tactics, and allow an Italian guru to come into your backyard, give you 2-1 in your own backyard, and you expect to go to their backyard and knock them out. It wouldn't be
it's
easy.
impossible.
It wouldn't be easy. So, Hurricane did his best, scored a goal, but it wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to kill the game in the first leg. Yeah. Although the teams that qualified, if you look at,
they all
had their best in their home, or in the first leg.
Yes.
They had their best in the first leg. Yeah. So if you are unable to have your handwriting in the first leg and expect to do magic, which we term as comeback.
Yeah, comeback.
In the second leg, football gods might not favor you on that. Might not favor you. Okay. So Bayern Munich didn't do justice when they played at home. Okay. That alone gave them that pressure. And although they drew 2-2, you didn't take them anywhere.
Okay. You always say that you always have to leave the best for the last. And the last Champions League match that you are going to review is Arsenal versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid couldn't do the comeback. Or the comeback did not come back. So at the Estadio de Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid 1, Arsenal 2.
In fact, that very day, I had a shocker myself. Because I knew it would be difficult for Real Madrid to qualify. That one is a fact.
Yeah.
It would have been difficult for Real Madrid to qualify on that very day. Especially going that's 3-0.
3-0 against the Arsenal side.
You have 3 goals to tackle before thinking of
the extra
goals for qualification. Although Real Madrid is a team that is not
They are not minnows in the Champions League.
Indifferent in making that history. Because Real Madrid has done it over and over. At many times. But to qualify was a bit difficult. Going into that game, I knew it would be difficult for them to qualify. I knew easy, sir. Qualify. But I knew they would win the game. I mean, say, Bomb is on me win. Although, say, qualification a bad thing. But I know, say, everything I remember did be winning. But to sit at your backyard for Arsenal to again outplayed you and also give you
score you.
In fact, Real Madrid gave me a shocker that very day. So sitting at home and allow Arsenal to give you 2-1, it's really an unfortunate thing. And Madridistas, this was sorry. Sorry to you all, and your team couldn't jump. But I pray they have a lesson learned. I know it might be possible Ancelotti might leave.
Yeah, that one. There's a high possibility that Ancelotti will be leaving at the end of the season. Madrid's problem is a very huge problem.
Yes,
because Madrid, since Marcelo left, have not had a left back. Madrid, after Toni Kroos left, they've not had a holding midfielder. Madrid, after Benzema left, they've not had an out-and-out striker. So Madrid's problem is very huge. And now, when you come to their centre back, Militao is out injured. Their right back, sometimes they play a makeshift Vasquez. Vasquez is not a right back. He is a winger, but he has been converted to play the right back. So now it has become his position. After Caballero picked up an injury, now he's the one occupying that position. And when you have a team that you always have to bring players to come and occupy a position that is not their favorite position, it's going to create a problem over a period of time, because teams are going to identify those players, their weakness, and they will exploit it. And at the end of the day, you will not be able to do what you were or what you are known to do. And I think that's what affected Real Madrid the most. Because the second leg, they couldn't control the game at all. It was a very poor performance from Real Madrid's point of view. A very poor performance.
And I think Real Madrid is lacking managerial control as well.
It's very true.
Because let me use Arsenal as a case study. Mikel Mourinho. He's not a striker.
He's not a striker. He's a midfielder.
But the coach has been able to convert him. And in fact, he's very clinical up front. Apart from scoring the goals in the 2 legs, scoring goals, he also puts so many threats. And give defenders tough time. So it is you, the manager, your responsibility to create an opportunity out of the few opportunities or the few materials that you have. So I think Ancelotti, I'm not taking anything out of him.
He's a great coach. The most successful manager in the Champions League history.
Yes. So, but I'm saying.
That one. Now we are in the modern era, so the modern coaches are taking over.
Yes.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's delve into the Europa League. So, the Europa League 2 took place on Thursday. Athletic Club Bilbao were home and they played against Rangers, and they won that match 2-0 against Rangers. Eintracht Frankfurt also were home against Tottenham Hotspur, and Hotspur defeated Frankfurt 1-0. So Hotspur have qualified, Bilbao too have qualified, and Lazio versus Bodo Glimt from Norway. That match also ended 3-1 in favor of Lazio. But on penalties, that match had to travel to penalties because Bodo Glimt won their home match, and Lazio also won their home match, and the goal aggregate were the same, so they had to go on extra time. No team was able to win after extra time, so they played penalties. And Bodo Glimt are the first Norwegian team to have qualified to an European competition semi-final. And it is a record that will be there for a very long time for any team from Norway to break it. Manchester United versus Olympic Lyon. That match was a cracker of a game. A cracker of a game. In the first 45 minutes, Uncle Fred, in the first 45 minutes, Man United were leading 2-0.
Yes.
Second 45 minutes, Olympic Lyon came back and equalized all the 2 goals.
Yes.
We went into extra time. First half of the extra time, Lyon took the lead, 3-1.
Yeah.
Fast forward. A few minutes into the second half of the extra time, Lyon scored the second goal, making it 4-2. 7 minutes to the end of the extra time, Manchester United came back and scored 3 goals to win the tie. What do you make of it, Severin?
In fact, Manchester United on the day, they did very well. On the day, they did very well. I would say, looking at their Premier League performance, in fact, they are
not performing. They are not performing.
Because looking at the league table, 14th. It's too bad.
Too bad.
Too bad of a mighty club like Manchester United.
Yeah.
14th and 14th position with just 32 matches. They have 38 points.
That's very poor.
38 points. That's against league leader 76.
Very poor.
Very poor.
Very poor.
And looking at their counterpart, that's Lyon.
Lyon, yeah.
Lyon is having a good time at Ligue 1. In the Ligue 1, they are at the 3rd position.
Okay.
And looking at their performance in away matches, away matches, I think they have done very well. So going into the the Manchester United match, they had that vim, that confidence that they will definitely sail through.
Yeah.
And then I'm just trying to catch up with their away performance.
Yeah.
They've played 15 away matches this season in the League 1.
Yeah.
They have won 6, drawn 4, lost 5.
Wow.
So, in the nutshell, it's an impressive performance that made them be at the 3rd position in terms of away matches with 27 goals scored.
Wow. Meaning they are scoring lots of goals
away.
So it's not surprising that they will score 4 goals at Old Trafford.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a surprise. Yeah. Scoring 4 goals, it wasn't a surprise. 27 goals scored with 21.
Wow.
So
they are also conceding lots of goals.
They concede a lot away, although they score much as well.
Okay.
And then looking at Manchester United, having played 32 league match with just 38 points, 14th on the league table. They were not having a record that matches Lyon.
Lyon, yeah.
So, this is a game of football.
Yeah.
Manchester is a mighty club.
Yeah.
A great club.
And especially in European competition.
Yes. You don't expect them to just back off just like that.
Yeah.
And I said, are they playing in their backyard?
Yeah, the theater of dreams.
The support, everything is there. But it was an interesting game.
Like that match was really dramatic.
It was an interesting game.
How could you let go of a 2-0 lead? Just like that. In a European competition, how many teams do you think would come back and overturn the results, and they will allow you to come back again if it were not to be Lyon? if you could, it were to be any other side, I don't think United would have been able to come back.
No, it would have been difficult.
Yeah.
It would have been difficult.
But Lyon themselves, they were very poor. After scoring the fourth goal, they were, I saw that they were jubilating too much.
Sometimes you get carried away if you have a slight upper hand over, especially it was in the extra time.
Yeah, it was in extra time.
They were carried away by the fact that in extra time they are leading by
4-2. Mighty United 4-2.
By 4.
But you have some minutes to play.
4-2. Yeah, they have some minutes to play, but leading Manchester United 4-2 at Old Trafford and getting to in the extra time, they were carried away. But Manchester, known to be one of the big teams in the world in terms of European football, you don't expect them to. They did very well. You don't expect them to just relax. And the manager, I think, is having a little challenge as Manchester United, especially coming from Sporting CP. Ruben, he is struggling to bring in his favorite 3-4-3 system into the Manchester United setup. Yeah. So I think it's a gradual process. Yeah. And even the manager said it. He said Manchester has been his dream club. Yeah. He had wanted to always coach. That's why, although he would have left Sporting at the end of the season, but when the opportunity came, he decided to just grab it rather than wait 7 months later before deciding whether to go or not. Maybe he might not get that opportunity. So he is that manager who is very, very enthused in,
and he's very ambitious too.
Yes,
for a young manager, 39 years, to take a club like Manchester United, he should be an ambitious coach to take that opportunity.
But I think Manchester, although they've won against Lyon, they've progressed to the semi-finals. Yeah. I still doubt if they can go far.
Oh, okay.
Because looking at even
they'll be facing Atletico Bilbao,
and that match,
Club Bilbao.
I think it is the end of the league for Manchester United.
It could be the end, or it is the end.
Oh, it is the end. Oh, I have that confidence that it is the end. Even looking at Manchester United's record
against Spanish oppositions, they are not
even in the league. In the league, before 4 games before they played Lyon, in the league, apart from Leicester City, that they gave them 3-0. They won 3-0 away. Yeah. They went to Nottingham Forest, lost 1-0. They defeated, played draw against Man City, and then played draw when they went to.
I think they won at Man City. Are you talking about their away performance or the overall performance?
Before the
Europa League game.
The Europa League game.
Okay.
They played draw with City. They played draw with City, and then Newcastle.
You defeated them
4-1. Charged them 4-1, and that defeat alone was something of a burden on them before they went into the Europa League. Yeah. But I think they did very well by trying as much as possible to win 5-4.
Yeah. It was very exciting for every United fan. Yeah. I think the United supporters watching us, let us know how you felt and how you are feeling about your team. Are you optimistic that Manchester United can defeat Athletic Club Bilbao so that they can proceed to the finals of the Europa League and ultimately win a trophy under Ruben Amorim, or you are pessimistic about the situation? Let us know in the comment section. So let's give you an overview of how the semi-final matches would be like. So Paris Saint-Germain will play at home in the first leg against Arsenal, the Gunners, and Barcelona would also play against Inter Milan. So Barcelona will also play against Inter Milan. That will be for the Champions League. When you come to the Europa League, Bodo Glimt will play against Tottenham Hotspur. Manchester United will play against Athletic Club Bilbao. Manchester United will go to Spain for the first leg before they come to Old Trafford to play the final match in the Europa League. So let us know your expectation on the semi-final matches, and also whatever that you take off in terms of this season Champions League, has it been exciting? And also the Europa League, has it been exciting? Let us know, because there's a new format of Champions League and a new format of Europa League. Has this particular Champions League and Europa League been very exciting to you? Let us know in the comment section. So Fred, your final view.
I would like to touch on the semi-final matches, especially for the Europa League, and then I'll go into the Champions League with Tottenham and Glimpse.
Yeah.
For the first time, I think Tottenham will
go to the final.
Will overcome
Bodo Glimt.
Yeah,
I think before the match itself, you will come and analyze both matches and see the strength of Bodo Glimt.
Sure.
Because most people have not paid attention to Bodo Glimt.
Sure.
But they are one team that is doing very well in Europe.
Yeah.
Previously, they were playing the Champions League and they were doing very well before they dropped to the Europa League, and now they are in the semi-final of the Europa League. So before we go into the semi-final matches, we will do a preview of the matches and analyze them properly.
Yeah. So with with Manchester United, more room for improvement.
More room for improvement.
I'll plead with United fans to have that patience for the manager, Ruben Amorim. He's new, and I think he's bringing up something new into Manchester United.
Yeah.
So I will say they should have that bit of patience for the manager. Alex Ferguson didn't have it
easy. Yeah.
When
he went to Man United to relegation.
When he joined United for the first time in Old Trafford. So I think they should give the young manager that chance, and then he will prove his quality.
Okay, so thank you very much. So that's from Uncle Fred. He says, Man United supporters give Ruben Amorim the chance. You should give him patience. You should have patience with him. And over time, he's going to prove that he has the quality to manage a club like Manchester United. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we draw the curtains on today's program. I am Stephen Ronald Boche. Don't forget to leave a comment in our comment section, like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.